Thank you to our final patrons, Strawbones, Black Wolf, Red Wolf 4765, and Artgoon 555.
What's up, guys? I'll Pencil here. And quick question, right? With Arthur being, our big bad, our final villain, the guy who is the guy, can he really recover from having his teeth ripped out and getting stepped on after trying to give a lecture? Like can we really take him seriously after this? Like, I'm not sure. Maybe because I was thinking, like, even if this is a clone, even if it's an illusion, even if it's anything, like, the imagery is there. The videos are out there. The reaction, like, this is ingrained in all of our heads. It doesn't matter, to me at least, if Arthur pops out of a portal, laughs, because that was a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of his real power, and he, like, throws Lancelot into the sun. Like, I already had the image of the final villain literally getting stepped on. Like, 100%, Lance literally put his foot through Arthur's chest. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to feel about that. Like, imagine, right, if in the original series, Bond just randomly, and I mean randomly, like, after everyone else, but then again, like, it's such an oddly specific situation, right? Like, it's hard to say. I'm trying to think of a comparison where it actually works. I think, like, maybe you could argue the Namek Saga, right? Like, say Gohan randomly at the beginning of the Namek Saga, because he saw Frieza randomly put his foot through Frieza's chest and was like, yeah, I'm him. And obviously it'd be cool, it'd be metal, it'd be great, it's all that. But, like, how are you supposed to take Frieza seriously after that? Even if Frieza still transformed 4 times, had a million, bajillion, trillion, a million power level, and was like the strongest ever strong, you still have that image in your head. You still have that image of Frieza with his foot being on the floor and someone else's foot being in his chest. And I feel like we run into that same issue with Arthur. Yes. Is it cool that Lance is him? Unbelievably so. It is literally legendary that Lance is him. I love the fact that Lance is him. I'm glad I called the fact that Lance is him. And the fact that people didn't believe Lance is him still blows me away to this day, obviously. But there's still the issue of, like, maybe he's a bit too him. Maybe as cool as this moment was, maybe it wasn't worth it. Because now, like, Arthur stocks are low-key down. Like everyone and their mother that I've seen has been clowning this man, and for good reason. Bro literally got body bagged by a 16-year-old who he was trying to talk down to. Like, you don't necessarily get back from that. But unless we get introduced to the super secret real final villains of the entire world, and plot twist, Arthur was really our best friend all along, like, how are we going to take him seriously from this point on? Because we've seen it. We've seen the man at his worst. And I don't think you can get much worse than here. Like, the only way it could get worse is if Lancelot literally just puts his foot, not on Arthur's chest, but, through Arthur's chest. I don't know. Because we've gone wild. We've gone crazy. We've gone stupid. And it has been fun. It has been amazing. The build-up was all there, but maybe it shouldn't have been with the final villain. Or who we assume to be one of the top villains. Like, even if we want to assume for some reason Arthur isn't the final. Because, for some reason, if you're a long-running anime and manga, you're somehow going to end up in space. And technically, Seven Deadly Sins already did that. Chaos is a random space creature that made the planet. But, with that being the case, I really don't know. And, like, also, with Arthur being put on the ground, isn't that kind of like... It makes Chaos just seem less intimidating in general. Like, not even just, like, Chaos was an ability and a power that everyone and their mother was waiting for Arthur to awaken. Merlin wanted it, Kath wanted it, Chaos wanted it. Like, all these different beings were like, yeah, Arthur, yeah, once you get this Chaos power, you'll be unbeatable, Arthur, yeah, Arthur, get these gains, Arthur, yeah, Arthur. Like, everybody was waiting for it. Everybody wanted it. The gains should have been insane. And I get it, let's say this for some reason is the real Arthur. This is just base, casual, toying around. Like, bro doesn't even have Excalibur, but I guess the main question here is a matter of imagery, right? Sure, Arthur isn't wielding Cali-Bally. Sure, Arthur could just be a clone. Sure, Arthur isn't base. Sure, Lance is in fact him. Like, we have all these different quantifications and reasons for why it does make sense that it would end up this way. But just because it makes sense, does it mean that it's good? Like, by certain means and logic, bad writing decisions have made sense. So does this count as one of them? Does bullying Arthur in this way, does it weaken the narrative? I mean, that's the thing, it's paying off one narrative. That's why I'm so torn on it, right? Like, it's paying off all the buildup that Lance has had ever since he was introduced, and just hasn't done anything, and it's just been always off screen. Like, I'd say the biggest, earliest mainstream example we get that is like overt is back in the 20s, back in the early days of Four Knights, when we had just gotten Anne on the squad and we were fighting Ironside and we got the Chaotic Dead. That was Lance's earliest showing of like, hey, I'm him, so be prepared for when I finally show you why I'm him. And to be fair, he already did there, but there was the long game we had to play. We had to wait. We had to make sure, is he really him? Is he truly him? Of course, I believed. I had faith, unlike many other people. But with that being the case, does the payoff to that narrative really make it justified to sacrifice another narrative that was built up arguably for longer? I'd say total... Now, see, this is the question. Technically, no. I'd say Arthur's narrative build up as like the big bad, the almighty, the literal creator of the verse technically supersedes Lance's build up too. Like, you could argue, I mean, it's weird. Like, you could argue, well, considering Elaine and Bond were set up way before Arthur was even introduced, you could argue that their kid being strong is something, but that's such a wide, large margin of a stretch. Like, Mr. Fantastic couldn't reach that darn far, and I don't think I can either. So with that case, I'm thinking like, maybe it was a mistake. This week break has had me sitting here and ruminating on the idea. Of course, I was wrapped up in the hype like everyone else was, and was losing it. But now I'm just thinking, what did we lose on a narrative level, on a writing level, on a stakes level? What did we lose? And honestly, I think I do have a basis, a criteria, a link point where I think this can be fine even with Arthur getting body bagged. And unfortunately, it comes down to the fact that Arthur is going to have to clap back, but he can't just clap back as in beating Lance. Like, he needs to like eviscerate Lance. Like, he legit needs to cause a crime scene. Like wholesale. When Arthur claps back, it has to be literally the most violent clap back we've ever seen. Like, remember in the original series, we had Meliodas versus Galland, and then we had Meliodas versus Galland, right? Galland came in, body bagged Meliodas, literally made a whole joke out of him. At first, I thought, wow, how am I ever going to take Meliodas seriously again? But then Meliodas clapped back with such loudness and velocity and ferocity that, of course, I took Meliodas serious again, because bro really got his lick back. So now for Lance, and you see him get his lick back. Because the difference is, right, the reason I'm saying he needs to commit a whole crime, like we need to see literal felonies in order for me to take Arthur seriously again, is because he's not Galland. He's not admittedly, as much as I love Galland, a side antagonist. Arthur, from what we've built up to, is the big bad. He's the final villain. So, at least at this point, once again, I am fully aware of the fact that Nakaba could just say, space, and bada bing, bada boom, Arthur's not the final villain anymore. But in the case that he doesn't, which I think is kind of likely for now, Arthur literally needs to tear Lance limb from limb, and then grab the rest of the four knights and tear them limb from limb, and then take Meliodas' head and put it on a stick. Like, I need to see Arthur clap back with the most vicious, unnatural, unholy ferocity for me to make me fear him again. Because I'm sorry, it is going to be infinitely harder to get the image of Arthur getting literally stepped on if I don't get it. If I don't see Arthur with the purest and most beautiful and thick, richest menace mentality this side of the Mississippi, I'm not sure I can hop on the boat. I'm not sure if I can take him seriously. I'm going to take Pelgard more seriously, because Pelgard didn't get bullied this bad. Sure, bro got slashed, made me lose a little faith in him, but then he clapped back violently and body bag Gawain. He got his clout back. That's fine. Ironside, bro was nerfed, bullied, and still got the cast that ended up really stalemating him. He never lost his clout. He's doing good. But their boss, the big man on top, the big A-R-T-H-U-R, you know, he going to have to do something crazy. And honestly, now I just wonder, like, in genuine nature, like, what can Nakaba show as a true appropriate clapback without, like, breaking breaking any guidelines, because obviously the idea that I offered is a little bit much. Not everyone can regenerate, so I don't know. I'm wondering. However, please, that's what I think. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications must miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below. Use my for as low as $1 a month. You can do exclusive videos, early content, and more. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.